Awesome. So welcome. This is the Atlanta Urban Debate League opening coach meeting. I'm Christy Bradley, director of the Atlanta Urban Debate League, and I'm going to go and let the professional staff introduce themselves. And then for the folks that are here, we'll do quick introductions. And just as an icebreaker, the one that I like the most is like, what's your pet peeve? Because it's pretty interesting to know what people are. But when you're introducing yourself, your name, your school, and I know everybody that's in here so far is new to debate, or at least new to the Atlanta Urban Debate League. So that is a really good starting point for us. So awesome. So my name is Christy Bradley, director of the Atlanta Urban Debate League. I would say my pet peeve is probably the most is timeliness. My family are late people, and so my rebellion was to be on time everywhere. So that I really like being on time. So my apologies for being a few minutes late because we were just sitting in another Zoom call for a little while. I'm going to pass it over to Allie.
Thanks, Christy. I'm Madani. I'm the assistant director of the Atlanta Urban Debate League, starting this year. Pet peeve. I'm very timely, like Christy, for similar reasons. All of my friends are half an hour late kind of people, but I guess my other pet peeve would be talking with food in the mouth. I think that's one that kind of just grosses me out a little bit. Elysia?
Hi, everyone. My name is Elysia Tillman, and I'm not going to say what my specific role is at this point in time, but my new pet peeve is when you're on a website and you want to read a recipe or something, and they're like, you have to make an account to look at our recipes. This is something that has newly started affecting me. Yeah, and I'll pass it to Manny.
Hello, I'm Manny. I am the Alex Fellow Debate Education Fellow for the Atlanta Urban Debate League. I'm also a new hire, like Allie. My pet peeve is when you have a ballpoint pen or a pen with a cap. Somebody uses that pen but forgets to put the cap back on after they have finished using that pen, and that risks the pen going dry prematurely, and that is sort of my pet peeve. Anybody free to take over, I guess?
So now for the coaches. So let us know your name, your school, and your pet peeve.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Victoria. It's nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm a 6th grade language arts teacher at Webbridge Middle School. So if you're familiar with the Atlanta area, we're a little bit further up north in Alpharetta. Let's see, pet peeves. I'm really OCD. I am very organized. So when things are not in their place, it hurts me on the inside. So our goal for my classroom this week is working on returning pencils. So that's been a big one for me this week. So we're trying to return our pencils. Good habits from the get-go.
Hi, I'm Monica Mendieta, and I am a parent of a student at Webbridge Middle, and very excited to be here. A pet peeve, let's see, losing socks in the dryer. Always happens, but for my son especially, I don't know why, but always losing socks.
Oh, that gets me too. Apparently I have a lot of pet peeves. It's all I'm all feeling it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Denal Wilmer. I'm a social studies teacher here at Woodward Academy in the middle school. I'm one of the new coaches this year. The other one, she should be joining. She may not. She may have to watch the recording. But my pet peeve is slow walkers. I hate when people take their time and they're always in the way, don't know which way to go, especially in airports. So, yeah.
Especially just if we all used to be, so get going. Well, I'm so happy that y'all are here. I know Webbridge. I do know Webbridge. I grew up in the North Fulton area, so I know that area very well. And Woodward has been part of the Atlanta Debate League for a long time. So I'm really excited that you are joining us as their coach. And for those of you that are going to be watching the recording, we're happy to have you here too. The purpose of this session is really to give you an overview of the opportunities that we have available for you and your students, and also to go a little bit into in depth, a little bit more than what just you have in the membership manual that you may have seen, and then also give you a little bit of space at the end to ask any questions. But we're also available to meet after this if you want to have some additional time. But you'll see also how you can schedule time with us to help get your debate team kicked off and going. A little bit of background of the Atlanta Urban Debate League before I open up our PowerPoint and sort of go in more detail about the service we offer. Is the Atlanta the oldest urban debate league in the United States. It started here in Atlanta at Emory University, where we still are. We are now, instead of in the debate office at Emory, which has a really nationally highly competitive debate team, we are in the Center for Civic and Community Engagement, which is the space on Emory's campus that has a focus of getting Emory students off campus and into the community to do work, all over the place in all sorts of programs. The middle school program, which all of y'all are the most focused on, started in the late 90s and has been growing ever since. So we have a pretty well-established group of middle schools that are a part of the Atlanta Urban Debate League, but we also welcome new schools and new coaches every year. So it's something that we absolutely love to do. And if you don't have any debate experience and are coming here, don't worry, we will help you. We've got a lot of good resources and support that we're able to give you. I'm going to share my screen. I have just a presentation that will help with the visuals in terms of having something to look at, as opposed to me like completely talking at you. But it's going to be a lot of me talking at you, and then I'm passing it over to Elysia to also show you around where some of our resources can be accessed and how to best use them. But we are also trying to make some additions and changes to our website and YouTube pages right now, just to let you know, to make it a little more user-friendly. But that is to come. We're also in the middle of the hiring process for our student workers. Emory's classes started yesterday. So we are interviewing, hiring, rehiring all of our student workers right now, who are the soul and the way that we get things done in the AUDL. So it's a very busy time, but really excited to have our group here. So sharing my screen. You just get to see it all. Oh, bother. It's saying like I have to give permission to sharing. And this being a work computer, it may not let me. Elysia, are you able to access it it is on our Google Drive? You're like, maybe. If not, I might just start talking at you just to. Oh, Elysia's a lot of magic if you haven't seen that.
Well, I can just zoom in and manually click through the slides.
That is perfect. I'm not going to let technology get us down. So you can read the mission and vision on the AUDL website, but basically the goal of the Atlanta Urban Debate League, we do offer competitive opportunities for students, but we really want to provide the skills that debate teaches people and spread as widely as possible. There are so many amazing things that debate teaches, anywhere from academic based skill sets. Social emotional learning is another one that is huge. And then also just the way that those skills, both the academic and social emotional learning combined, translate to being able to speak up for yourself, to advocate for yourself and your community and make positive change in the world. That's the very, very end goal. But at the very beginning, we do hope that the parts of debate that you probably recognize as being part of the AUDL and any debate experience is critical thinking and public speaking, research, and making people more informed and capable advocates for themselves. So you'll learn more as you get involved in debate. Elysia, if you can go next 2 slides, because this is really why you're here, and like learning about the programs and how do you access these. So one of the best ways to get support for programs is through site visits. Site visits are where you connect with us to get people to either come to your school, or if that's not possible because of either timing and geography and all the other pieces of the logistics of getting people there, we do offer virtual, and we also can have people at Emory. But because of the number of people that we have in the Atlanta Urban Debate League available to do site visits, with the number of schools that are participating in the Atlanta Urban Debate League between our elementary, middle, and high schools, we guarantee 2 site visits per school per semester, but we might be able to offer more depending on whether or not the demand that week is high, or if we have a lot of our students that are available to do site visits. We are increasing the requirements for our student workers. Our student interns are hired by Emory to do Atlanta Urban Debate League work, and we are increasing the number of site visits that they are required to do as part of their internship with us. So hopefully that allows us to provide more high touch points between the Atlanta Urban Debate League and the schools that are in the community. As I was mentioning, the site visits are in person or at Emory. Emory has now relaxed a lot of the COVID requirements or restrictions more, where they weren't allowing people on campus, but they now are. So it's also a really good opportunity to give your students a view of a college campus with college students here and virtual via Zoom, and hopefully with no tech issues. But they always do happen often. The next is a little bit about the site visits, just to highlight the dates. So we will be opening up the ability to sign up for these site visits on September 1st. We use Squarespace's scheduling as the way that you sign up for the site visits. We are gathering right now our availability. When you schedule on the website, we go with what we have known availability for, but if your debate practice or the time that you would like somebody to come and work with your students doesn't line up with what's available on the scheduling, you can just contact us and we'll do our best to try to meet the needs of your school. There is a lot of variability based on us having a pool of college students where their schedule isn't necessarily, jam-packed from 9 to 5 or whatever the timing that might be. But we will be starting deploying people for site visits on September 12th. And that's giving us enough time to get our students trained and onboarded and ready to go. So that's why there's that delay from now till then. But it just putting those 2 dates on highlight right there. And the other thing that's really helpful to us when we're going to your school for a site visit, or if you're coming to us or we're meeting virtually, is to know what general things you want to work on. And that will give us time to prepare lessons and activities and things that will make your students succeed in this thing that you're trying to work on. Sometimes that might take a quick meeting between AUDL staff and the coaches, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And we can figure out where to get started and what would be a great way to supplement a typical debate practice. All right, Elysia, next. So the Digital Debate Center is a really fantastic opportunity that is available to all members of the Atlanta Urban Debate League. We do focus on middle school and high school participation during these sessions. And I'm gonna let Elysia talk a little bit about them, because Elysia and Manny are the folks that are going to be running the Digital Debate Center this year. But it is a Zoom-based format. We will send out the link to coaches that you can distribute to your students, but we will also, now this is the first year we're going to try this out, but allow people to register to get the Zoom link from the website, just to make sure that we know who's going to be in this space and that they are part of the Atlanta Urban Debate League or the National Urban Debate League network. So just to make sure that it's not just random people coming in, we will have some control over who is coming in and out, but we don't want to make it impossible for people to get in case as a coach you miss an email or something happens. So that is new this year. We also have changed the timing. Before we started at 4:30 on Thursdays, now we're going to start at 5 p.m. and that's to hopefully allow people to get home. I know middle schools go until a little bit after 5 or 4. And so you're welcome to do these from your school, or students are welcome to do them from home. But I do ask that if you promote this program to your students, that the students let their parents or guardians know that they're hopping onto the internet with the Atlanta Urban Debate League. And so it's not just, you know, a parent walks into a room and sees a kid just like on a Zoom chat with a bunch of random people. That's the basics that we ask, but I'll let Elysia talk about it a little bit more, so as a promotion of it.
So the main thing that we do here is that, like it says, we're going to be initially focused on the evidence and arguments. Also, we have not gone to argument with speech bowl yet, but we will also cover those. But it's pretty much a chance for us to kind of have an open session to both like present the information and then hopefully, you know, get to engage with the students so they can ask us questions about it. So if just seeing a video isn't necessarily enough for them, or if they want to ask some clarification questions also just about debate in general, even though we have specific topics when we will be holding DDC sessions, students are also just welcome to show up. And after we get through the covered topic, we kind of just open the floor for anyone who's present to ask any questions. So if we're, say, going over the evidence, and then someone's like, well, I don't understand cross-examination at all, that's totally fine. So it's a really good resource for students who just want like a little bit of extra help and a chance to actually like ask us something. And we will be doing this not every Thursday, but the schedule will be coming out to y'all soon, hopefully.
Awesome. Again, really good opportunity to also work with students that are in other parts of the Atlanta Urban Debate League community. So nice. And in years past, it was very lecture based, and there's still going to be that aspect of it. But we do have a goal to make it more interactive. So it takes the woes of being virtual out of it a little bit, knowing that it's, you know, less than desirable to spend more time on a Zoom call than you would like. But that's the goal for the DDC. Next. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the debate ambassadors, but I am going to talk a little bit about it because we are recording this for the larger AUDL community, but it is a designation that we are offering to our high schools only. What this does is supporting schools that want to try debate outside of the Atlanta Urban Debate League circuit. There is the Georgia Forensic Coaches Association, and then the National Debate Circuit, and a few other debate circuits out there that offer abilities for people to compete in spaces that are a little more open in terms of what arguments you'll see and the people that you'll debate against. Debate is very different than other competitive activities. We don't operate regionally or set by a geographic boundary like sports are, where you start getting larger and larger depending on like how far you go at like regionals and state. Debate is national from the get-go, or regional if you want to stay within the local geography of Georgia. GFCA stands for the Georgia Forensic Coaches Association, and there are a number of schools in the Atlanta and Georgia area that have debate tournaments available throughout the year. So our goal is to, in support of debate programs that want to debate outside of the Atlanta Urban Debate League, is to help with getting ready for these tournaments. We can also work with tournament hosts to provide either no entry fees or reduced entry fees. We also are going to be offering abilities for tournament grants to be given to schools or applied to for schools, and that can also help with transportation costs, or if it's a tournament that is too far away geographically to make it possible to travel between days, to have maybe tournament grants to cover hotel. So there's a bunch of different ways that you may need support and funding, and we can try our best to have resources for you. Unfortunately, we don't have unlimited resources, so there is going to have to be some parameters as to what we'll be able to provide, but we will do our best. We also have a couple of national tournaments that we are automatically part of with being members of the National Association of Urban Debate League. We have in October a virtual round robin expo, and this is a varsity and junior varsity high school team that will be debating virtually from Atlanta, and then an in-person debate tournament, the Urban Debate National Championships, another junior varsity and varsity high school debate experience that will be in Dallas, Texas this year. So we'll be providing more opportunities and more information about the Debate Ambassadors program, and when high schools are interested in this, please contact us. We will really try our best to get you into whatever debate experience that you're looking for. Thanks, Elysia. Next. All right, the Argumentative Speech Bowl. This is a really fun product that came from our COVID times. We had to figure out more virtual opportunities for our students to have speech and debate activities. The Argumentative Speech Bowl is an asynchronous speech competition that is going to start in September. That we'll have a first submission at the end of September, but what we will provide is a prompt, some background reading and material, and some curriculum to help debaters structure their arguments and structure their speeches. Then they will provide, or they'll videotape themselves giving like 2 to 3 minute speeches, and then they'll get feedback from those speeches from Emory student interns, Atlanta Urban Debate League professional staff, and also other Emory students that have a debate and speech background that are interested in providing this sort of, or staying connected to debate in this way. This is really awesome for students who are also very interested in just speech activities that is not debate related necessarily. They do have to provide the same sort of argumentation that debate will have, but it's not a direct debate one-on-one. It's much more about public speaking, about presentation, and informative speaking. For those of you that have a memory of how we ran the Argumentative Speech Bowl in previous years, we are going to have an entire year of the ability to participate. So we'll have 2 virtual rounds in each semester, and then 1 in-person final round at Emory on April 15th. That'll be a Saturday, it'll be a big celebration. In years past, we had it as an elimination round where you had to compete in the first round to compete in the second round and so on. But this year, we are allowing all schools to compete in any of the virtual rounds, and then we'll have a cumulative tabulation of how all of the students do from those rounds from each school. And our goal is to have a variety of schools at the final round. Our hope is that we are able to have at least one speaker from each school that participates in any of the Argumentative Speech Bowl rounds. And so if it's at least one, maybe two, depending on the participation this year, but we are very excited to be able to have an in-person speech finale of the year with the Argumentative Speech Bowl. We'll be releasing that in the very near future, so your students can get started, and we give you about 3 to 4 weeks to work on your speeches and submit them. And then there's a fairly quick turnaround time for the feedback. And then we'll go on with round 2. So we're hoping the changes make it more accessible. It's also a really great way to get students that may not be comfortable or able to debate because of other commitments on your debate team and into the speech and debate activity. All right, next. All right, so tournaments is a really big part of the Atlanta Urban Debate League. The reason that we have tournaments is to primarily to build community and to give students a space in which they can exercise the skills that they're learning in debate practices. And it is a really big motivator for students to actually stay in debate and do debate as an activity. The tournaments are held starting in September and they go through March. And we are, for those of you that are new, this is, everything is new. So, but I am going to talk about how we used to run things. But this year we are doing a combination of having schools in the Atlanta Urban Debate League host tournaments, where we will be traveling to different schools on Saturdays to have the debate tournament. We are so very thankful to the Atlanta Public School System for securing a facility for us to use for the dates that we don't have tournament hosts secured. And that's Benteen Elementary School. And I'll send those dates out, or the locations with the dates out. And that's actually my goal tomorrow, is to get those out to all of the middle school coaches, so you can start preparing your calendars and schedules. So for the high school schedule, we have one tournament per month. And so that has already been available to high school coaches. For middle schools, we have so many middle schools in the Atlanta Urban Debate League that we are only able to host tournaments with dividing the group up into 2 different tournaments per month. So we have 2 middle school tournaments per month, but each school will only be attending one of those tournaments. And we do our best to mix up the schools, so you and your debaters get to see different groups of people at each debate tournament. That is one major function of mixing it up. So it's not just everybody goes to the first tournament of the month. It helps to switch it up to build community and to see different people in competitive rounds. So it's just part of the happiness of the Atlanta Urban Debate League, is to be able to interact more. There are a couple of COVID protocols that we are keeping in place right now. Just because of the spike in COVID, we will be taking temperatures. We will have a waiver that we'll ask everybody to sign before coming into spaces. It will be good for a year, so you only have to sign it once. But this is true of anybody coming to a debate tournament. And we also, for the time being, we're expecting to wear masks. So we will provide for those that forget them, but be prepared to enter spaces masked. We want to be as inclusive in the Atlanta Urban Debate League as possible, and making sure that we are taking care of people that are immunocompromised while we have a rise in COVID is something that is very important to us. The thing that we're excited about, though, is we're going to be back to the cafeteria model. So for those of you that had debated with us during COVID times, we had broken up the schools to sit in classrooms between debate rounds, but now we are able to be back in the cafeteria. It's a really amazing space where the energy builds, and we can, kids sit with their own teams and their own squads within the cafeteria, but it is a space in which people are able to interact with each other in a more organic way than when we had to split them up this past year. So that's a really exciting part of this upcoming year. It's slowly returning more to how it was prior to the COVID lockdown. We will be using Speechwire still for new coaches. We'll have some Speechwire guides available to you in the near future on how to register your teams for debate tournaments. This is the system that we use to tabulate the debate tournaments and do our ballots, where on your debate team, your kids, when they go into a debate round, they'll be getting their win-loss record if they won the debate round or if they didn't. They also will be getting speaker scores. And then the most important part of a ballot is the written feedback that the judges give your debaters to use to get better at debate in the future. So it's a system that once you learn it, it becomes pretty easy to do, but we'll definitely be here to help particularly new coaches get acclimated to Speechwire and registered for debate tournaments. Very easy. We haven't released any of the Speechwire invites yet. So if you haven't seen any Speechwire invitations sent to you, don't worry, it's because we haven't sent them yet. So next couple of things about debate tournaments. We have divisions that are within the different ages. So middle school and high school tournaments might happen simultaneously. We have one debate tournament a month that is both middle school and high school, but they will not debate together. The high schoolers debate against the high schoolers and the middle schoolers debate against the middle schoolers. But we do have levels of experience within these two age ranges. So in the middle school, we have novice, junior varsity, and varsity. And the differences that are between those divisions are very much about the experience level of the debater. Our novice division is for students who have zero debate experience. So nobody in that division should have a good idea of what's going on at the very beginning. So we have a lot of limitations on the amount of evidence that is provided for the middle school novice division. So they have the time to learn both the process of debate as well as the arguments and that they will have available to run. The junior varsity is a little bit more advanced. So those students are students that have had some debate experience the previous year and know what a debate round looks like. They might know the order of the speeches and what the difference is between going affirmative and negative, but they aren't so advanced that they are ready to win the national championships. They're still very much in the learning process and could be even early on in their learning process, but they have a few more arguments available to them than the novice division. And so they are slightly more sophisticated in debate, but very much still learning the very fundamental skills of debate. Most of the debaters who debated last year that were in novice or JV should be in the JV division. So if you are a debate coach that is figuring out where your debaters should debate, if they debated last year, they really should be in the junior varsity division. The varsity division is our most experienced middle school division, and they have even more arguments available to them. These are students that have been debating for 1.5 to 2 years that have a very solid understanding of the fundamentals of debate and that are looking to really explore more arguments and how to use those arguments against each other. These are students that I highly recommend going to the Digital Debate Center to figure out how these arguments and strategies work together. They are fun to watch. They are fun to debate. It's good to have those varsity debaters, if you have them in your team, to help with the younger debaters and help get a leadership model, getting those more experienced debaters, helping the younger debaters get acclimated. For our high school, I'll go over that very quickly because I know we have some only middle school coaches here for the moment, but our high school, we have 3 divisions as well this year. This is new. We have our novice division. Again, it's really intended for our very beginner debaters who have never had debate experience before, who are really just trying to figure out what a debate round looks like, what the flow of a debate tournament is, and the basics of some argumentation. The high schoolers do have longer speech times than the middle school and the middle school or the high school novice have a little more evidence than the middle school novice do, just because they are in a different place developmentally, both with their education and with their social emotional skills. So we provide a little more for them. The junior varsity division in high school is our newest division this year. This is similar to our middle school division, where it's our high school students who have more understanding of the basics of debate, but are still in the learning process. So we want our debaters who have debated last year or who have debated in middle school to join the junior varsity division from the start. They will have a few more arguments than the novice division, but they already understand what the speech orders are. They know what a debate tournament looks like. They know what some of the arguments are or were from last year. And this is the space in which they are continuing to develop their skills before they go into the open division. And the open division, which is our 3rd division in the high school division, is our most advanced level of debate that we have. It's open for a reason. It's called open for a reason because it's open evidence. The rest of the divisions in the Atlanta Urban Debate League have an evidence packet that we have provided for you. The open division can use evidence from anywhere they find it, either on the National Speech and Debate Association website, other debate forums that have listings of evidence available to them, or if they are so inclined to do research on their own, this is the place where high school open debaters will do this. They also have, the open debaters have longer speech times, and the goal for our open division in our Saturday debate tournaments is really to get practice for debaters that are interested in doing the debate ambassadors work, where you're about to go and debate in other more regional or national debate tournaments. So there is a leap from the middle or the high school novice and JV to open, but it's one that's totally doable, and we have a lot of support for that. We do workshops during debate tournaments, as well as have special sessions for people who are making that jump to the open division. So tomorrow I am making this promise publicly and on the Zoom that I'm going to send the dates for the debate tournaments that your school is assigned to for middle school, and making sure that all of our high schools also know the specific dates for all the debate tournaments. They are, we are still expecting people to debate tournaments, so we may a location here or there, but we'll try to give you as much advance notice as we can for all of those. The last thing that I will mention about tournaments is the judging requirement. So this is the part that is one of the more challenging parts of running a debate team. It's to make sure that we are able to run a debate tournament by having people judging debate rounds. The other part of that is getting, let me back it up a second. The judging requirement is what we try to have schools provide is one judge for every 2 debate teams registered, and a debate team is 2 kids. So when you have a debate tournament, if you don't have judges to judge rounds, it really makes it difficult. We try on the Atlanta Urban Debate League side to recruit community volunteers and Emory students that are that have a debate background and who are also working for the Atlanta Urban Debate League and volunteering for the Atlanta Urban Debate League, but it's not enough to cover an entire tournament's worth. It also is a really good developmental and learning piece for our debaters to be able to debate in front of a wide variety of people. It's a skill that they only learn if we get different people from the community to be a part of our judging pool. So parents are often our judges, particularly in our middle school and elementary school division. But we are able to work with schools that have high school students as part of their judging pool, particularly if they are judging middle school debaters. We provide judge training at the beginning of every single debate tournament. So before the first round starts, we gather all of the judges that need to be oriented to debate tournaments and trained on how to judge these rounds. We gather them, we teach them, we get them ready for these debate rounds, and then we send them out. We also ask that anybody that is judging in the Atlanta Urban Debate League for the first time to go through orientation, even if they have debate experience. So we are all coming to it at the same level and understand how we as judges interact with the debaters and serve as educators in those spaces. The reason that we're able to keep the membership fees the rate they are is because of the volunteer judges. A lot of urban debate leagues are in a model that have to charge a lot more for participation or get a different sort of financial arrangement because they are hiring judges to judge in the debate rounds. And that is a financial cost that we aren't able to do at this moment in time. So we highly rely on our schools to provide a lot of judges for the debate tournaments. The other good thing about judging, though, if you are able to provide the parent judges or the volunteer judges from your school, we are hoping to have more coach socialization opportunities where you can meet other coaches, where we'll have a session usually after the first round begins and before lunch. So we'll hopefully get enough judges to be able to cover the judging, but allow the coaches to meet each other, interact, and not even have a program necessarily in place, just have a space for you all to gather. The last thing about debate tournaments, and it's not really about debate tournaments in general, when I was talking about the evidence for the different divisions, you can find the evidence on the AUDL website, and we have it listed for each division. And Elysia will talk a little bit more about that later. Next. So one thing that I definitely want to highlight is our summer programs. I know it's like we're just leaving summer and heading into the fall, but it's something to look forward to for the next summer. We offer a lot of summer programming for our debaters and for our coaches. The debate team here at Emory, the Barclay Forum, has a residential high school camp that is focused on getting students to a national competitive debate level. And we provide scholarships for Atlanta Urban Debate League students to participate in those. We also run a series of middle school and high school day camps, meaning that we don't have them stay overnight, but they are here on Emory's campus or in a school that is wanting to host a debate tournament during the day. And it's a really amazing opportunity for the debaters to get an advanced look at what the evidence and arguments will be for the year, and to make a bunch of friends and connections going into the debate year. And they get really excited about it and have a really lovely time. The coach fellowship opportunities are plenty. We have these, it's a program where we bring coaches in to serve as instructors, but we team you up with an Atlanta Urban Debate League student intern or professional staff, as well as sometimes a high school student. And the cross-pollination of skills and knowledge is what we benefit from that program. Particularly debate coaches that are new to debate, you get a lot of experience and interaction with the people who are doing debate professionally, and learn some of the games and skills and activities that we do in debate. And a lot of our younger instructors gain a lot of classroom management experience and the other teacher magic that comes only with having experience in the classroom. And it also gives you as a debate coach the beginnings of the understanding of the topic for the year. So that's very exciting. And we love our coach fellows. We had I'm counting like 12, I think, coach fellows this year. So it was a really lovely group that we hung out with this summer at Emory. We also pay you as a coach fellow, so you get an opportunity also to earn a little extra during the summer. We also give instructor positions to high school debaters to teach our middle schoolers. So it's another professional development for our younger audiences. Next. The last thing I'll talk about is our Civic Scholars program. And this is a sort of catch-all that happens just to be a part, like as part of the Atlanta Urban Debate League. People contact us with different opportunities because of the work that we do. And we want to share that as widely as we can. So when a group says that we have this amazing opportunity for people that are in K through 12 spaces, we often jump on it and let you all know about it. We've done national poetry slams that were supported or brought to us by elementary coach that she just retired, but it was for high school, middle school, and elementary school students, but it was really a cool program. We also at Emory often come across a lot of different cool programs that are available for students, and they are looking for schools to be a part of it. So I can't give you a list of what would be a Civic Scholars program at this point in time, but I guarantee you that things come to us all the time, and we love to provide these opportunities and use the connections that we have to give your students more exposure to cool things. So I'm going to turn it over to Elysia to go a little bit over where our resources are and how to find them. And then we'll open it up for some questions that you might have.
Okay, so here's our website. The just AUDL website is just at atlantadebate.org, pretty simple. And we have it divided up into kind of resources for coaches, debaters, and judges. So we have a lot of existing resources here in the Coaches Corner. We have things broken up into elementary, middle, and high school, though there is a lot of overlap in the middle and high school stuff. The evidence that we talked about before that's accessible on the website, you can find it here at either of these links. We link to a large folder with all the evidence, so you'll be able to find it no matter which one you go to. You will also be able to see in there our speech times. We have calendars for tournaments if you're trying to get a sense of kind of like, okay, what does the whole year look like? We have guides on Speechwire or a link to Speechwire for registration. This is where we'll post the results for things. We link to the YouTube channel, which I'll also go to separately. But the big thing that I kind of want to focus on here is the coach policy curriculum that we introduced last year. So this has a lot of structures. Here's kind of just like the table of contents of like the overall areas, but it's got things for if you're like starting a program. It's got things for our newer coaches on things like, let's look, for example, on things like when you're at a tournament, kind of like, what does it look like? What does registration look like? So things like, how do we use Speechwire? How do you make an account? How do you register? Things like that. For other areas, we have both like an overview of what maybe we're trying to cover. So if we look at, for example, kind of some basic policy debate things, we have a content overview that kind of just is a approximately 1 page worth of content, trying to kind of just explain it for you so that you have a good idea of it. For all of our content areas, we include kind of like learning objectives, things to look out for to see are students grasping it or not. And then we also, for all of the relevant areas, provide different lesson plans that you can see here. So all of our lesson plans kind of are meant to be the kind of thing that you can skim and you can get a good idea of like, what will this lesson plan teach? How much time do you need? What do you need to do it? Kind of like, what prep do you need ahead of time? And then how do you run it? And then again, kind of like, how can you tell if students are getting it or not? And then we have not uploaded this on the website yet, but it is on our YouTube. A lot of our, some of our AUDL summer fellows, who are some of our lovely AUDL student interns, created several videos this year on certain activities you could do, like certain speaking drills or other just activities that you can do. So if you want to actually see someone demonstrate how to do it instead of just reading a guide, that is on our YouTube, and we'll probably get it up in the section of the website soon. So this is a really big resource that I highly recommend. If you don't want to go through the website, but you want to download it, you can just kind of scroll to the bottom and it'll take you to our Google Drive folder where you can download the whole thing as a PDF or a Word document. So a lot of our resources are here. And then if you have enterprising students who really want to get ahead on their own and you kind of just want to direct them to things that are specific to students, if you go to the For Debaters area, you can send them to the same website. You can send them here. And then we have specific guides for the students themselves that we will be restructuring this part of the website this year, but it does have a bunch of the core debate skills that we talk about, like at debate camps, in digital debate center sessions, that we tell judges to maybe look out for. All of those things are kind of covered here, whether they are beginning students who need to know the basics of like how to make an argument, or they're more advanced students who are getting into arguments that they might not have ever seen before. This kind of gets into a lot of things. And then for our high school open division in particular, we have a whole separate part of the website for them with additional information that's not super relevant to the closed packet divisions, but can help them understand, including like a getting started resources page. So if you're a high school coach who has students who are interested in open but kind of unsure of what that jump looks like, this kind of gives them an introduction to it and the resources, and this kind of covers a lot of what we go over at the workshops. And then the last thing that I want to show you all is just our YouTube channel. If you're anywhere on our website, you can see like at the top here, you can like link to all of our social media, including our YouTube. And then also at the bottom of every page, you can get to this. But yes, we are Atlanta Debate on YouTube. So we have a bunch of videos. We have some playlists that might be restructured, but we have a lot of stuff here, a lot of really good stuff. So even though I'm after this going to talk a little bit about the evidence, we have videos that Ali has so graciously made for explaining a bunch of the major evidence and arguments in the packet. So this is a good place to get a grasp on kind of what it's saying beyond just reading the packet. This is a good place to also send students who are trying to, you know, get ahead, learn more. We have our demonstrations from student interns of how to do activities on here. And then we also have some lecture videos that we recorded during summer camps and that the Barclay Forum recorded during their residential camp. And then we have just things going back through years. We have old digital debate centers, and then the demo debate will eventually be uploaded here. So that is something that if you want to show your students an example of, and we even have, if you want to see a kind of debate now, not on this year's topic, I would recommend looking at the 2019-2020 demo debate video, which is on our YouTube. That's a popular one that people like. To kind of just like get a sense of like what does a debate round actually look like and show students. But yeah, we also have one for this year's topic that will be uploaded soon. So that's everything relating to kind of the website. Now I'm going to talk a bit about what the evidence looks like. Again, we just saw on the YouTube, there's a bunch of explainer videos, and then Manny and I will also be covering the evidence at these beginning digital debate center meetings. So if you want to get an in-depth look at what all of these arguments are in the evidence and how they function, I would definitely recommend checking out the YouTube, coming to the Digital Debate Center. But for an overview of our evidence this year. When you click it'll take you to a Google Drive folder. It has everything. We have both Word and PDF, and then the speech time document. But I kind of want to go through division by division and talk about what we have. So starting with middle school novice, this is kind of the simplest level of what we have. It's going to be, we have a pandemic affirmative that that has one advantage, pretty much. This is about NATO working based on Article 3 of its treaty to prepare for pandemics, and it focuses on racial justice as a reason why we should focus on preventing pandemics. And that is the only thing affirmative-wise that middle school novice has to cover. Pretty much everyone else will be able to build from this, but this is the starting point. And then there is one disadvantage on the negative side to answer this, which is the deterrence disadvantage, which pretty much just says that NATO should be focusing on defense, military security stuff, stopping Russia from being more aggressive and escalating things, and that focusing on public health takes away from that and makes war more likely. So those are the basic arguments that everyone will have access to at all levels. And then middle school, junior varsity. And then also for people who have not seen our packs before, we have a table of contents that's very helpful at the beginning that kind of gives you an overview of where to find everything. This year's packets, we have pretty much all of the affirmative stuff and then all of the negative stuff that goes with the respective affirmative. So this one, you have the same pandemic affirmative plan, the same advantage about racial justice, which is the disease advantage, but then we have an extra advantage called the biological terrorism advantage, which is about people weaponizing diseases and how the plan is essential to helping prevent attacks from weaponized diseases. So this comes with an extra disadvantage, which is called the public health disadvantage, which kind of gets into how giving the military more power, allowing them to encroach on an area that has typically been a civilian matter, can be bad, can allow the military to get away with abuses of power. And it also includes a turns case argument, which we'll get more into in the DDC. But essentially, JV, you have the same affirmative, but extra advantage, extra disadvantage. And then I actually want to talk about high school novice before I jump up to varsity. High school novice is more similar to middle school JV, where you get the pandemic affirmative with both advantages. You get the deterrence disadvantage and the public health advantage. So high school novice, very similar to middle school JV, but they have a bit more time to talk, and that's about it. So middle school varsity is where oh, actually, I think I left out potentially. Nope, no, I didn't. Okay, so middle school varsity. This one introduces some more advanced arguments for the pandemic AF, but there's also, I clicked the wrong thing. There is a second alternative that they have the option to look at. So for the pandemic AF, it's all the stuff that we've talked about before, these two advantages, these two disadvantages, but we also introduce two new kinds of arguments. So this is for students who want to go beyond the basic affirmative case versus disadvantage on the negative. We have a treaty counterplan, which is based on the World Health Organization taking action instead of NATO. And then we have a racism critique. Critiques are a whole thing that I'm not going to get into, but are a really different kind of argument. And this kind of gets into the assumptions behind why we do affirmatives versus just like looking at the consequences of them. So this one focuses on questions how the affirmative points out that pandemics do not affect everyone equally based on things like race, but instead of doing anything about the racism, just tries to like fix pandemics and argues that instead we should be focusing on trying to fix or challenge systematic racism as a whole instead of just dealing with the one issue of pandemics. So this is varsity. And then the other thing that varsity gets is they get a completely different affirmative. So this is the cyber AF. This one is completely separate, kind of. Those other arguments aren't really about this affirmative. So all the other negative arguments we talked about, all the other advantages, they don't come into play. This one is focused on how NATO needs to engage militarily with Russia. So it talks about Article 5, pretty much the collective defense response, and clarifies that the way we should respond, NATO should respond to cyber threats and cyber attacks and misinformation, information warfare, all of that, as if they are uses of force, essentially. So this one is a more advanced military focused one instead of a pandemic focused one. It has two advantages: the the Russia advantage, which is kind of about our relationship with Russia and deterring them, and then the democracy advantage, which is kind of about how the promotion of undemocratic leaders by Russian misinformation is bad, why we need to have democratic leaders, and why democracy is kind of just like good for the world and preventing conflict and solving big problems in the world. So this one is more advanced. The lecture videos that we have from the Emory National Debate Institute on the YouTube are more relevant to this than anything relating to the pandemic AF. And then we have a lot of options on how to answer this. So we have a international law disadvantage, which essentially argues that the plan and the specific responses to information warfare and cyber attacks would be a violation of international law as set out by the UN Security Council. So we should not do that because it kind of just like ruins international law and undermines the UN Security Council to say we can use like weapons in response to misinformation and cyber attacks, which are, not the same as like missiles. And then we have the cyber treaty counterplan, which is about, this is also a treaty counterplan, but it's separate from the WHO one. This one essentially says that instead of NATO amending their Article 5 policies, the US and Russia should talk and have a treaty where they're essentially like, okay, we're not going to do cyber attacks on each other. And then the last thing is a militarism critique, which again, critiques are more philosophical about the assumptions behind why we're doing the affirmative instead of focused on the just consequences of it. And this one kind of gets into the attitudes that are involved in constructing things as threats that we need to respond to with military violence and all of the negative implications of that. So I know that was a lot, but we have videos on all this. We're going to cover it at the DDC. If you all have students, especially ones who are not novices, who want to get more help, want to kind of talk more about these evidence things, I would really encourage you all to send them to the DDC. The DDC is a really good place to send any enterprising students who just like want to do more, want to get more than just what's already out there. Or if you aren't necessarily sure you want to do a site visit because maybe the whole squad wouldn't benefit from it, but you have like a few students or one student who would, the DDC is a really good place to send them, whether it's about the evidence or anything else. So yeah, I'm going to swing it back to Christy.
Muted. Awesome. So I know that this is a whole lot to take in right now, and particularly for those of you that are new to debate, and we will be here to help you throughout the learning process. This is really just the beginning, the intro, and it seems like a lot. And you may ask, like, why are we talking about NATO? It's a nationally set topic, so we can then make it more accessible to go to tournaments outside of the Atlanta Urban Debate League, but we also have opportunities to not talk about NATO with the Argumentative Speech Bowl and other activities that we have available. But thank you for listening at this moment, but I'm gonna open it up to questions, but I also know we're just past time. So if you need to go, all of us, Allie, Manny, Elysia, and I are always here by email, atlantadebate@gmail.com. We will be able to answer questions if you have them. You're also welcome to schedule meetings with us to go over things that you may have questions about as well. But we'll stay on for a little longer, or at least I will, to answer any questions you might have. And thank you. And I'm looking forward to a really great season of debate.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We'll be
awesome. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. I'm going to stop recording.